In the last session, we have seen about drag polar of high subsonic, transonic, and supersonic as well as hypersonic vehicle for drag polar, right? So in this lecture, we are going to learn about high lift devices, that is the secondary devices, especially 70 control surfaces, which we are using, and how it is going to help for generating higher lift, that is to produce maximum CL, okay, coefficient of lift. Okay, that's what we are going to see in this particular lecture. So before entering into that, the contents is taken reference with NPTEL, IIT Professor Madras, IIT Madras Professor E.G. Tulapukra sir, and let's get back to the lecture. So CL and CD, there is lift to drag ratio. So lift to drag ratio, right? Otherwise, it will be called as aerodynamic efficiency. Okay, so it is represented with E. Okay. So E is given by L by D, and the correspondingly L by D can be given as CL by CD. So whereas CD is, we know that drag polar CD naught plus KCL square, right? CD naught plus KCL square. One second. So instead of CD, we can write CD naught plus KCL square, right? So I hope in your principle of flight you might have studied this aerodynamic efficiency, right? So although if you have not, then I will be explaining here itself. That is not a problem. So the ratio between CL, and CD, it is given as lift to drag ratio, and it is an indicator of aerodynamic efficiency for designing the airplane. And for parabolic drag polar, CL by CD can be work as follows. Okay. So here we are having the slope, curve slope, right? So CL versus CD graph, right? So based on that, we are taking the slope of the curve, right? So the slope of the curve is given like, I'm just having a problem with this stylus. So kindly try to understand, I'm having just problem with the stylus. So kindly try to understand what I'm saying. The dou E by dou CL. Just differentiating that equation, E is equal to CL by CD naught plus KCL square. Okay, E is equal to CL by CD naught KCL square. I am differentiating with respect to CL. So when I am differentiating this L by D, there is a aerodynamic efficiency with respect to CL, then I will be getting the maximum CL. So the maximum CL will be, the slope of the curve will be equal to 0. Okay, so the slope of the curve will be equal to 0. So then I can say that CL max, CL of E max. Okay, so CL of E max, right? So CL of E max, that is, kindly understand that for better aerodynamic efficiency or for maximum aerodynamic efficiency. So if I'm marking it as CD, so for better aerodynamic efficiency, what is the CD required? Okay, so that's what we are going to calculate in this particular equation. So when we are partially differentiating the aerodynamic efficiency equation, that is U by V. So U by V method. So differentiation with respect to CL. Okay, so dou by dou CL multiplied by CL by CD naught plus KCL square. We are equating equal to 0 in order to get that slope of the curve for maximum. Okay, right. So U by V method. So VU dash minus UV dash divided by V square. So when we are differentiating U by V with respect to CL, so initially we are having U dash, So U is CL and V is the denominator term. So U dash, when we are differentiating CL with CL, we are getting 1 and the V will be constant. So CD naught plus KCL square will be given like that minus U, right? So U is given here, V dash. So differentiating the denominator with CL, okay? So CD naught by CL, that is constant, so differentiation of constant, that is 0, plus KCL square. So differentiating this KCL square, so CL square, it is differentiated with CL, so 2CL, okay? So 2 multiplied by K into CL, K is constant, 2 KCL, okay? So divided by V square, so denominator, the whole square, CD naught plus KCL square power whole square, okay? So which is equated to the 0 for the slope, right? So when we are equating with respect to 0 and if we are cross multiplying the denominator towards right side, then the term will be also 0. So if you see here, CD plus KCL square, so CD naught plus KCL square, multiplying this minus KCL here, so we will be getting minus 2 KCL square. So when we are multiplying this CL inside, we will be getting the minus 2 KCL square. So already we are having a positive KCL square. So overall we will be getting CD naught minus KCL square. Okay, so which is equal to 0, right? Right. So if we want to get better aerodynamic efficiency, that is E max. E max means aerodynamic efficiency is higher, okay, better aerodynamic efficiency. So that is directly indicating that if you see here, E is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to D, right? So as much as lift we are generating, we are getting better aerodynamic efficiency. As much as the drag is reduced, we are getting better aerodynamic efficiency, okay? So E max indicates CL has to be maximum, CD has to be minimum, okay? So from this equation we can identify that if I am calculating CL from this equation, right, CD naught minus KCL square, so this terms will be going to right hand side, so CD naught equal to KCL square, right? See, my stylus is not working properly, so kindly try to understand what I am saying here. So CD naught is equal to KCL square, okay, right? So CD naught is equal to KCL square. So if I want to calculate CL, so CL is equal to square root of, where square is there, so square root of CD naught by K, okay? So this equation indicates that if I want to get better aerodynamic efficiency, then I have to fly with the CL of root CD naught by K. Root CD naught by K. If I am flying, then I can get good aerodynamic efficiency, and the drag generator has to be reduced to 2 CD naught. So how this 2 CD naught is coming? Coefficient of drag is given drag polar CD naught plus KCL square. So from this equation we can identify that CD naught is equal to KCL square. So substituting that CD naught over here, so CD can be represented as 2 CD naught. So for attaining better aerodynamic efficiency, the drag has to be as much as reduced, so that value is nearly equal to 2 times the CD naught. So if our aircraft is flying with the CL, that is which is equal to square root of CD naught by K, then we are having a better aerodynamic efficiency. If our aircraft is flying with a drag of 2 CD naught, we can say that the aircraft is having better aerodynamic efficiency, okay? So simply we can substitute from here L by D. So here we have calculated CL max, right? So if I am marking E max, right, so E suffix max, right, so I will be marking here CLM max, CD max, okay? So I will be substituting this and this in this equation so that I can find the E max value. So E max is equal to, by substituting these values, square root of CD naught divided by K and 2 CD naught. Okay, so half, that is in denominator 1 by 2 square root of CD naught by K. Okay, so this is my highest aerodynamic efficiency. Okay, so E max is equal to 1 by 2 square root of CD naught K is my best aerodynamic efficiency for any aircraft. Okay, right. So apart from that, you might have known that lift is equal to weight in the cruising level, right? So L is equal to given by half rho V square S into CL. So if we are equating lift is to weight, then we can write weight is equal to half rho V square S CL. Okay. So from this equation, if I want to calculate the velocity, so I will be cross multiplying the terms. 2 is over here. 2W divided by rho S CL. So there is a square. So for that we are making square root. Okay. So my velocity will be given equal to V is equal to square root of 2W divided by rho SCL. Okay. So from here, if we want to fly with the maximum CL, that is CL max. So don't get confused between CL max and CLE max. So there is a difference between CLE max and CL. Okay, what is the difference is, here I am using CLE max for aerodynamic efficiency, for higher aerodynamic efficiency. What is the CL required? Okay, so that is what indicated by CLE max. But what we are speaking over here is entire aircraft's maximum CL. So beyond that, if the aircraft is generating CL, the aircraft will get into the stalling position. Okay, so that is the limit. CL max is the limit. If we are generating more lift than CL max, then the aircraft will enter into stalling position, right? So that particular speed, corresponding the speed velocity is called as stalling velocity, and corresponding angle of attack is called as stall angle. So I hope you remember your principle CL versus alpha graph, right? So the graph will be rising up for linearly for an angle of attack up to 15 degree. So after 15 degree, the CL will start to decrease, right? So let's see in the next slide. For example, I have given over here. So this is the graph, right? So alpha stall CL max. So this is an unsymmetrical airfoil. That's why at zero angle of attack we are getting some lift. So if you see here, the CL max is having a limit, right? Nearly 1.5. So corresponding angle of attack is called as alpha stall. Beyond that, the aircraft will fall into the stalling, and our lift will be started to decrease. So having a limit. So that's what I back we will be explaining more. Okay. So V as corresponding stall velocity is given by CL max. Okay. So I hope you understand the difference between CL max and CLE max. So E max in the sense it is only for aerodynamic efficiency. Okay. So don't get confused with CL max and CLE max. Right. So I have given 3 images over in this particular slide. So first image is with a low angle of attack. Second one is with a moderate angle of attack. The bottom one, that is with a large angle of attack. Okay. So you can see the streamline flow pattern, how flow over an airfoil. So in the first image for low angle of attack, it is streamlined pattern. But if you see that the moderate, right? So in the moderate, you can find the flow separation and vortex generation in the wake generation in the upper surface over here itself. So if you see here, it is throughout streamline, and there will be a small wake at the trailing edge. But here you can identify from the bottom, if the angle of attack increased, then the separation and wake generation is also near to the leading edge. So this is our leading edge. So near to the leading edge, the flow wake will be formed. for large angle of attack, let's say 15 degree above. Okay, so by that time the aircraft will enter into the stall angle of attack. That means the aircraft is generating maximum lift. Okay, so beyond that the lift will start to decrease. Okay, so that's what I explained in the next slide. So that's what I explained in this particular slide. Okay, right. So in order to attain more maximum lift, so 1.5 is the maximum limit without any external control surfaces. Okay, or secondary control surfaces. Suppose if we are doing some wing changes, and suppose if we are designing a new control surfaces, and we are having some factors, then we can increase the lift coefficient. We can increase more coefficient. Okay, see what is the performance parameter. If aircraft is having 15 degree is the stall angle, we are doing some changes in the design, either in the design of the wing, or if we are adding some secondary control surfaces, and we are increasing the stall angle. Instead of 15 degree, we are making it as 20 degree. So of course that is giving a performance parameter. We have attained a better performance. If we are increasing the stall angle itself, that means we are attained a performance increase in performance we have attained. Okay, so there are different types of ways, that is to increase the maximum lift. So first one is to change the camber. So camber is the distance between the car line and camber line. So if we are making the changes in camber, then we can attain maximum lift also. Second one is increase in the maximum lift coefficient due to the boundary layer condition. So by changing the boundary layer, we can increase the maximum lift. So by changing the wing area, we can increase the maximum lift. So apart from that, the fourth option is introducing the leading edge devices. Okay, so if we introduce a leading edge devices, we can increase the maximum lift. Okay, so these three factors are taken into the consideration, and this data has been studied, where I am also giving that in upcoming slide. Right. So one of the technique which is to improve the CL, right? So to improve the CL, we need to energize the flow. Energize the flow in the sense, when the flow in the upper layer and the bottom layer, right? So bottom layer is having high pressure, the upper layer of the airfoil is having low pressure, right? So the flow over the upper surface will be like fast. The velocity will be higher than the lower bottom. Okay, lower bottom of the airfoil. So in order to energize more fast, we have to make dimple like structure. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen so that you can understand what is dimple airfoil. Can you able to see the screen? Kindly wait. Let me share again. Okay, let me share again. Can you able to see the screen again? No. Kindly give me a second. I'm sharing that, but it is not visible. Yes. Okay. So I hope we can see the screen right now. Right. So here you can see the images I'm showing over in this from the Google. So the previously the airfoil will be smooth. So this type of dimples, right, in the upper layer, especially they will be using this in the upper surface than in the bottom surface. They will use in the upper surface. So what will happen? The flow which is over the upper surface will enter into the dimple and it will recirculate. Recirculation will be happening and energize. It will get energized by itself and then it will move faster. Okay, so this type of configuration you might have seen in the golf balls also, right? Golf balls. So the dimple shape is used to recirculate the flow, energize the flow, so that we can increase the lift. Okay, so many researchers have been done in the same pattern. You can see in this image also, right? So various types of research has been done with making dimples, and the study also has been done, and they have found better performance than the non-dimple wing structure. Okay, so this is one way where we can control the boundary layer. Okay, so by this way we can attain the CL maximum also. Okay, right. So I am stopping there. Share now. So with I can share the slides again. Right. So same type of configuration is used either suction or bowling. And if you see here, if we are making a gap between the leading edge and if we are introducing another surface, so the flow will be getting energized, right? Because from higher, if there is a higher pressure region in the bottom and lower pressure in the upper surface, the flow will try to escape through some gaps, right? So if we are making the gaps and all, then the flow will get energized. So by that way, we can attain maximum CL. Okay. So this is one way. And another way is either increasing the area of the or by either introducing the secondary control surfaces, right? So flap is secondary control surfaces, whereas aileron, elevator, and rudder is primary control surfaces. Okay. So flap is having advantage as well as disadvantage. It depends upon where you are using. So let's consider that if the flap is deflected for 5 degree during takeoff, so the flap is used to generate the lift. If we are deflecting the flap for 5 degree, and if we are taking off with the 5 degree deflected flap, then surely the flap is going to give better performance by increasing the lift, by generating the lift. Okay, but if we are using the flap with 10 degree or more than 10 degree, what will happen? The vortex generation will be high at the trailing edge, and the drag will be increased. So that's why during takeoff they will be using 5 degree to increase the lift. During landing, they will deflect the flap to more than 10 degree so that it will be increasing the drag and the aircraft can stop with shorter runway. Okay, so that is the advantage of flap, right? So apart from that, we are having various types of flaps also there, which you can see in this image. So plain flap, it is general flap, which is in most of the aircraft, olden aircraft. So apart from that, split flap, so half of the flap will be slitted and it can be deflected. So slotted flap, so there will be a gap between the trailing edge of the wing and the flap. So double slotted flap, so if you are extending flap into two slots, if you're giving this gap between the surfaces, so double slot. So triple slotted flap, so if you are increasing the third slotted flap, then it is. So mostly many of the aircraft have used this Fowler flap. So in the Fowler flap, it will be like a retractable. Uh, it can be extended and it can be retracted back to the original position. Like that it was designed. Okay, so that's why if you see the card with the original position, that is C, when we are deploying the flap, then the card can be extended. So that's why C dash extended. Okay, so by changing the card, correspondingly the camber will be also changing, because the distance between the camber and card line will be given as camber. So by changing the camber, the lift can be also increased, but there is a limit of deflection. Deflection limit is there. Okay, even I have shown you nearly 8 types of flaps as well as slats, right? Slat. So depending upon the deflection factor, also the lift generation is varying. Okay, so if you see the left hand side, I have shown you the graph. So whereas the unsymmetrical airfoil is there, so initially it is having an CL max up to nearly 1.5, but if you are using the flap, right, if you are using the flap, the CL max can be increased by deflecting 5 degree, okay, during takeoff. So that difference in CL max, that is delta CL, difference in CL max between usage of flap and not usage of flap, right? So depending upon that, our CL will be also changing. Okay, so if we CL is changed, so correspondingly the lift to drag ratio will be also changing, where our aerodynamic efficiency is directly proportional to CL. So our aerodynamic efficiency will be also good. Okay, right. So another thing is, apart from using flap, if you are using the slat together, in addition of flap, if you are using the slat, right, which I have shown in the H image, so which was shown in here. So if you are using flap, external flap as well as slat, then we can increase further. We can increase the aerodynamic efficiency, sorry, CL max further, where our stall angle will also get increased. So instead of stall angle 15 degree, we can make it as 20 degree. So up to 20 degree, we can generate more lift, and after 20 degree, the stall angle will be forming. Okay, so that is our maximum CL it will be coming. So by using the slat and flap together, we can achieve more lift further. Okay, right. So here you can see, for some configurations, especially during landing. Okay, so for plain flap, there is sorry, no flap configuration, we are having 1.5, that is the maximum CL. For if you have referred the basic graphical representation between alpha and CL, everywhere we will be seeing that 1.5 is the maximum CL, right? So in the case of plain flap, so it is 1.8. We are having plain flap, and single slotted flap we are getting 2.2, and double slotted flap we are getting 2.7. So if you are using both the double slotted flap as well as slat, the leading edge, right, slat, then we are attaining 3.0 CL max. If you are using triple slotted flap, then we are attaining 3.1. Again, if you are constructing with triple slotted flap with the leading edge device, then we are getting 3.4. Then the Fowler flap and Fowler flap with leading edge device, that is 2.8. So by this Tableau column and the external data, we can easily say that triple slotted flap with leading edge slat, right? So that is having a better efficiency, 3.4. So why we cannot use this in every aircraft, right? So that might be your question. Although nowadays we are using slat, but some of the aircraft is not preferring the 3 slotted flap, because there is increase in weight as well as the area of wing is much more increasing. Apart from that, by deflecting with respect to particular angle only, we are getting CL max. So if you are deflecting more, our drag will be increasing. Okay, so most of the aircraft is using double slatted flap as well as the Fowler flap, that is nearly we are getting 2.7 and 2.5. So if you are using slat, then we can attain nearly to 3.0. Okay, so if you are going for triple slotted, then the actuators and other systems also will be increasing, and the cost will also increase accordingly for better performance also, right? So here I have given some aircraft comparison, especially for swagging. Okay, so how CL max can be generated with sweep back. Okay, so quarter card. So what is that quarter card indicates? That is nothing but 1/4 of the total card. Okay, so quarter card sweep back means nothing but 1/4 of the card. Okay, so everyone knows the sweep back ring, right? So there will be an angle delta, right? So swept back angle. So quarter card means, like, let's say this is the mean card C dash, right? 1/4 of the, sorry, 1/4. Okay, 1/4 of the card. That is quarter card. Okay. So for various swept back angle, if we see corresponding CL generation, right? So the Boeing 737 and RJ70, that is, I cannot able to understand the aircraft company RJ70. So I will try to look at what was this exactly. So Boeing 737, so that is having a swept back with 25-degree, right? So that is attaining a CL max around 3.3. Okay, so that is attaining a swept back with 3.3 CL max. So whereas A320 and B757 and other B677 and B727, it is attaining nearly 2.5 CL only. Okay, so correspondingly, if you are designing an swept back RC aircraft, right? So then you can prefer this 25-degree swept back. So not only this 25-degree is going to give better performance depending upon the airfoil which you are used, and depend upon flap, which type of airfoil you are using and which type of flap and slats you are using. By that we can attain, for your RC model also, you can attain the maximum CL and maximum aerodynamic efficiency. So those who are out there and those who are using RC aircrafts, so they can try with this 25-degree to calculate the CL. So try to buy some instruments from Amazon or from any other external source, so that you can calculate the velocity, you can calculate the pressure in the surface. So by that you can do your own experiment and you can analyze, right? So that's how you can make yourself more interest in this flight mechanics. Okay, right? So the better performance according to this swept back analysis, so Boeing is having with 25-degree swept back, because RJ70, it is not having that much swept back angle, it is nearly zero. Okay, so Boeing 373. So if you are having time, you can read about that configurations in itself. So you'll be identifying that we can get better CL max with slat, flap, and by changing the camber boundary area also, right? So there was a technique to calculate CL max. So this was a ratio, the right side equation, left side equation, which is one of the ratio taken from experimental data. It will be only applicable with the limit of 0.5 Mach to 0.9 Mach. Okay, so when the Mach number lies between 0.5 to 0.9, this will be applicable. Okay, so what it is indicating is the ratio between CL max. So right now you have to calculate CL max of 0.9. So when the aircraft is flying with Mach number of 0.9, right? So divided by CL maximum 0.5. Sorry, my stylus is not working. I'm just using my mouse for writing this equation. So here you can see the graph also, graph as well as that equation also once. So CL max of 0.9 divided by CL max at the Mach number of 0.5. So depending upon the speed also, the CL max will vary, right? So for the Mach number, it is like a ratio. CL max 0.5 divided by 0 CL max of 0.5. Okay. So that was given with respect to minus 0.418 Mach plus 1.209. Okay. So now I request all of you to, instead of m, substitute the value 0.9. Instead of m, substitute the value of 0.9 and give me the CL max for that particular Mach number. Okay. So in this equation, substitute 0.9 instead of m and give me the value. Don't type it in the chat box. I'm starting the poll. Kindly answer the poll. What is the CL max for Mach number 0.9? CL max for Mach number 0.9. Kindly answer the poll. Kindly answer the poll. 0.9 CL max for 0.9. Don't just randomly click the answer. Try to find that, then you answer. "24 people have not responded yet. Kindly answer that. Akshay, Pardap Singh, Ananya Mohanta, Aniket, Dirka Gandhi, kindly answer. Deepika Rao, Disha Takriya, Gaurav Giri, Gaurav Yadav, Himanshi, Harshavardhan, Muhammad Ismail, Neha Sandhu, Ritik, Shivika Sukla, Yogesh Kumar, Yogyata. Okay, okay. Right. So kindly answer. So most of you has given the answer like third option, that is 0.833, and a few of you have given 0.853. So let's check what was the answer. It is 0.833. It is the correct answer. So from this graph, you can, this is just an approximate. Okay. So if you want to calculate, if the instrument is failed and you want to calculate how much CL maximum is required if the aircraft is flying in the between, right? So we can use this type of technique. So what it is indicating, right? CL maximum of 0.9, right? So if the aircraft is the same aircraft, if it is having a CL maximum of 0.9, so that will be equal to 0.833 times CL maximum generated at the 0.5. Okay, so correspondingly I will be giving you that. So let's consider CL max of 0.5 is equal to 1.6. Okay, So by this equation, suppose if the instruments are not working or if the data are not received, so then we can use this. Sorry, I don't know what. So if CL maximum for 0.9 is given as 0.833 multiplied by 1.6. Okay. So by this equation, if we know the value of maximum CL for 0.5 Mach number, that is nearly, I'm saying approximately 1.6. It will vary for aircraft to aircraft. Okay. So CL maximum at 0.9 can be calculated with is equal to 0.833 into 1.6. Okay. So with this, I am ending today's lecture. So many of you have asked about writing that research article